All right, week 9 college football breakdown. Interesting afternoon battle in the SEC. We've got Missouri traveling to South Carolina, taking the Cox as 3.5 point home favorites. Pretty low total as well at 45.5. That's where I'm going to start right away. Heavy lean in this game is towards the under. I was seeing it at 46.5 for most of the week, and it looks like it has been bet down a little bit. Really, I think anything 45 or above, being that 45 is a key number, do think that probably warrants a play on the under. Haven't locked it in yet, but as to why, first of all, when you're looking at totals, pace is always a major consideration. Both these teams well below average in the pace department. And I guess what's notable there, I mean, we knew coming into the year that's how South Carolina operates, but Missouri has really started to slow things down this year, and that hasn't always been the case since Eli Drinkwitz took over. So check there. The main reason I like the under here, the strength of each of these defenses is within their secondary. And both do a particularly good job of limiting explosive plays and getting beat over the top. So if you take that element away from any offense and you force them to have to rely on quick passing game and running the football to beat you, going to be a lot of long drives, and that's just not a recipe for consistent success. You have to be able to create explosive plays, and quite frankly, I think each defense can limit that. Right along with that, I think each quarterback has really struggled in the vertical passing department this year. Brady Cook for Missouri, not horrible numbers on the surface, 65% completion, 7.3 yards per attempt. That's not terrible. It's actually better than I probably thought he would have come out at, but just 6 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. That is exactly what I'm saying. When you can't consistently beat people over the top, it's going to be tough to finish drives, and that would indicate that's certainly the case for Missouri. Spencer Rattler, though, much of the same, 7.5 yards per attempt, but 5 touchdowns to 8 interceptions. These are just both teams that can't finish drives, and it's because they are, once again, they are not creating enough explosive plays. As far as how each team is going to fare on the ground, I actually kind of like Missouri's run game. I mean, I thought that we would see a drop off after they lost Tyler Beatty from last season, who was one of the most underrated backs in college football. I think Nathaniel Pete has been serviceable. Quite frankly, South Carolina is just not great against the run. I know they're high and mighty off of that win against Texas A&M last week. They didn't particularly stop the run well in that game, and if they weren't spotted 17 points in the first 5 minutes, they wouldn't have beat Texas A&M. I think this run defense is incredibly beatable. I think Missouri should be able to establish the run game in this one. On the other side, Marshawn Lloyd, he's definitely emerged for South Carolina this year. Their offense was terrible across the board last year. And I'm not saying he's some game-changing player, but they finally now have at least somebody solid that they can rely upon in the run game. Missouri was one of the worst run defenses in the country a year ago. Big reason why they lost 6 games. They've been a little bit better this year, but I haven't really had a great feel on week to week how they're going to fare in particular matchups. I would just expect them to play to the level of competition. I don't think Lloyd is going to really run all over them, but I think he'll be able to move the chains, sustain drives. South Carolina's was more like a 4.5. I think they're even a 5-point favorite earlier in the week, and we have seen that line come down. I agree with that. I think there's this narrative of South Carolina now after they beat Texas A&M last week. They still had less than 300 total yards in that game. They had a special teams touchdown, had major field position advantage early in the game via a turnover. So that can lead to a somewhat misleading narrative. I really don't think there's a lot separating these two teams, to be quite honest with you. The margins are clearly too small, so I will lay off a side here. If I had to play this game, heavy lean towards the under at anything 45 or above. You see this shirt, Halloween's coming up. We got the Halloween theme. Head over to proud90.com. Unique but very comfortable polos as well. With the colder weather coming, also got a great selection of hoodies and quarter zips. Proud 90 has got all your golf apparel needs. If you see anything you like at proud90.com, use code Fordham at checkout. It's going to get you 15% off your entire order. Code Fordham at checkout is going to get you 15% off your order. Support me, support Proud 90. The rest of the information will be in the description below.